Good morning. Good morning, everyone. We're going to get started. I'm Nidra Bradley, Director of Financial Aid here at Meridian Community College. On the Women's History Month Committee, we wanted to welcome you to our first annual Women's History Month program. Before we get started, I'd just like to ask everyone to silence their cell phones if they're not already silenced. Also, if you needed to leave at any point, you can come down through this way. Facilities are down here for restrooms and things. But we just want to welcome you all to our Women's History Month. March is the beginning of Women's History Month, and we wanted to take this time to let women know that you can walk a mile in anyone's shoes. And that's the theme of our program today, a mile in her shoes. We're going to hear a wonderful message from Dr. Miller from Mississippi University for Women, and we're going to ask Maggie Freeman to come up now to do the national anthem, if you all will stand.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Hello, everybody. You all can continue eating. I'm just going to go ahead and introduce our guest speaker for today. Nora Roberts-Miller is the 15th president of Mississippi University for Women, the W. She earned a Master of Business Administration from Mississippi State University in 1998 and is a certified public accountant. She has served on the W staff since 2001 as Senior Vice President for Administration and Chief Financial Officer for 6 years, and as Vice President for Finance and Administration for 11 years. Miller served as Chair of the University Press of Mississippi and on the Board of Directors of the Southern Association of College and University Business Officers. She serves as Secretary and Treasurer of the Southern Universities Conference and as Treasurer of the Boys and Girls Club of the Golden Triangle. She has served as Treasurer and is a member of the MUW Alumni Association. Miller is active in a number of organizations, such as Mississippi Chapter of the International Women's Forum, and is on the Board of Directors of St. Paul's Episcopal School, serving as chair in 2009 to 2010. Miller was named one of the top 50 businesswomen of the year by the Mississippi Business Journal. Other honors include being named a 2019 Woman of Distinction by the Girl Scouts Heart of the South Council, and has received the Mississippi Distinguished Civilian Medal of Honor for her responsiveness to the soldiers and airmen of the Mississippi National Guard. Please welcome President Miller.
Thank you, Piper, for that introduction, and I want to thank all of you for the invitation to come and speak with you today. And I'm especially honored now that I know that this is the inaugural event for Women's History. I was super excited when Dr. Huebner invited me, and when he told me that the theme was walk a mile in her shoes, because I love shoes. And my husband always says, why do you need more than one pair of black heels, or blue heels, whatever. He just doesn't get it. But men have it a lot easier as far as shoes go. If they've got a pair of dress shoes, a pair of running shoes, maybe some Birkenstocks, they're good to go. But women, like so many other areas, we have a lot more roles to fill, and they require a lot of shoes. So I wanted to just kind of go through my life in shoes. These are my latest pair of running shoes. Dr. Gathing's here. We see each other early mornings at the track, and he knows that I like to get out there and run. And I didn't start running until I was 49 years old. And the then president of the W, Dr. Jim Borsig, told me he was planning his inaugural events and he wanted to have a 5K. And I thought, why walk all the time? I can just walk it. So I went home and I was talking to my sisters that weekend, and I said, our new president's going to have a 5K, and I think I'm going to walk it. And they said, oh, we just signed up for a Couch to 5K program. And my sisters are 9 and 10 years older than I am. So I was like, game on, I'm going to run that sucker, So it just kind of got me. I ran that race, and then I ran another one, and then somebody at work asked me to join their team for the St. Jude half marathon. And I said, I'm not going to run 13 miles, And she said, this is June. You've got 6 months to train for it. So I ran the half marathon, and then I ran a few more half marathons. And then one time I was running the St. Jude had a half marathon in Nashville. And it was the second time I ran that race. And we got to that point where all the marathoners went off and I ended, and I thought, I want to go with them. So then I started training for a marathon. So since all of this, I've run, I don't know how many 5Ks, 10Ks, 10 milers. I think last time I counted, I think I've done 25 or 26 half marathons, and I've done 8 full marathons. And I'm not fast, I just finish, I've never been athletic, but I finally found where what I used to consider a fault of mine, which is stubbornness, turned out to be an advantage, because now I say I am determined. I will finish what I start out to do. And running gives me a good chance just to work things out. I write speeches in my head on a long run. I figure out what I'm going to do about different projects at work. And it also gives me a chance to bond with people I might not have a whole lot else in common with. But runners kind of form a bond, and they get together and they'll go out for coffee or something after a run. And so I've made some friends that I probably wouldn't have had if it weren't for running. So I encourage any of you to find an interest like that and follow through with it. Make sure I'm doing this right here. Oh, went the wrong way. There we go. These are my recovery flip-flops. If you are a serious runner, you know that a pair of UFOs, after a long run, when you are just beat to death and the balls of your feet are killing you, you put those on and it's like you're walking on marshmallow clouds, and they just kind of massage you the whole time. So it's important to have a little bit of recovery and to realize that you need a little bit of pampering, and you need to take care of yourself after you've accomplished something that was hard to do. Okay, let's see if I'm going the right way this time. There we go. These are my go-to shoes. I've run thousands of miles in my running shoes, but I've spent thousands of hours in a pair of pumps. And that's kind of the standard for work, and that's what I do. And I've learned to stand for hours in those. I've learned to walk all over DC and wherever else I need to go. And those UFOs feel pretty good after a day like that too. But this is the taking care of business pair of shoes. These are fun shoes. Everybody needs to be show a little individuality and have a little bit of fun and just a little sparkle, a little animal print every now and then. So these are my weekend or a good casual Friday kind of fun shoe. And it's important to let yourself have a little bit of fun and a little bit of comfort, and to show your personality too. So that's all part of it. These are my COVID shoes. That first COVID Christmas that we had celebrating out on the deck with a bonfire, freezing to death, somebody advised me before we had that Christmas gathering to get a pair of Uggs. So I became an Uggs devotee. These are my COVID shoes. These are the ones I can wear when I'm Zooming from the home office and nobody knows I've got my pajama pants and my Uggs on underneath, and I'm all dressed up on the top. So need to take care and nurture yourself too, and have a little bit of comfort. These are the shoes I am most proud of. Shortly after I became president at the W, our Alumni Association had a silent auction, and these shoes that have the iconic symbols of the W, there's the Old Maids Gate, there's Callaway Clock Tower, there's Odie Owl, who's our mascot. Well, like a fool, I didn't realize, it was kind of odd that they were in my size, which is kind of large. I thought, if I were going to put a pair of shoes up for auction, I'd go like a size 7.5 or something, where you'd have a lot of people bidding on them. And I didn't realize they were purposefully done in my size, So luckily nobody really challenged me on the bid, because I would have gone ahead and I'd set the max bid for like $500 for those shoes. I was going to get them, So these are the ones that I've worn probably a few too many miles, because you can see some cracks in the paint there where the clock tower and the Old Maids Gate. But these are my shoes that show my school spirit. And whatever you're doing, you need to be 100% behind and be a champion of. So these are my championship W shoes. And then sometimes you just have to be ridiculous. I could not resist these. I mean, they're so silly. But these were the shoes that I tried them on one time at Dillard's in Jackson, and I thought, I am too old for this, and this is ridiculous. And I got home that night, and I could hardly get to sleep thinking about those shoes. So I went ahead and ordered them. And so these don't get worn very often, and they certainly don't get worn for many miles. But these are the ones that just sometimes you just have to, And these are my latest edition. I don't know if you can see my fashion accessory I'm wearing right now, but last month I had a freak reading accident. All the marathons that I've run, nothing. I was reading a book and I got caught up in it. I was reading for hours. I stood up, my foot was asleep, and my ankle just rolled and fractured. So my wardrobe has been affected this past month. I was in that boot for a couple of weeks, and I've now graduated to the brace. So this reminds me, you need to embrace whatever support you've got. I started to go without the brace today, and I thought, no, I'm going to be standing there for a while, and luckily I didn't realize there's not anything to lean on there, so that was a good choice. But you need time for recovery, you need to pamper yourself some, and you need to embrace whatever support you've got and be thankful for others who help you get to where you need to be. So I didn't want to do a full-on plug for the W, but since I have some wonderful students here, and we get some great transfer students at the W from Meridian Community College, and so this month is very special, being Women's History Month. Also, it was on March 12th that the legislation was written in 1884 to found the W, and we are the first and the last state-supported college for women. We've been coeducational since 1982. We have about 20% male enrollment, but we're still, about 80% female. We have many great programs. We're known for our nursing program and our education, and we have a culinary arts building that is under construction right now. It will be complete next spring, so fall of '23 will be there. But as you think about your next steps and thinking about a 4-year degree, I encourage you to give the W a look, and we would love to have you there. So wanted to leave plenty of time for any questions, and then also I think we're going to have some table discussions with mentors. So does anybody have any questions or anything you'd like to ask? Yes.
What has your experience with being the president of a college and being a woman been like? Like, how did you work up to that, and what kind of obstacles did you face going into that?
I never dreamed of being a university president. I loved being in school, and if I could have just stayed a student the rest of my life, I would have been perfectly happy. The day I graduated from the W, I just cried and cried because I didn't want to leave. So it took me a while to work my way back there, but my next step was I was an accounting major, and so I went to work for the state auditor's office, and at that time they had a division that was just colleges and universities. And Pam Harrison, who works here at Meridian, she and I worked together at that time. And that was great because I got to be on college campuses. So I thought, okay, if I can't be a student, I'm going to find a way to work on a college campus. So I worked at a community college in Alabama for a while. I was their director of accounting. And then I went to work at the institutions of higher learning, the college board that governs the 8 universities in Mississippi. I went to work there as director of internal audit. And then I became director of budget and financial analysis. And then I got to go back to the W as CFO. And never thought about, that was my dream job. So it wasn't until the day that Dr. Jim Borstig told me to expect a call from the commissioner, because they were probably going to ask me to be acting president, that I ever thought about being a president of a university. And I don't have a doctorate degree, so it's pretty unusual. It's becoming more common for people in business to lead institutions of higher learning. But that was not my career, not the path I saw forward. But being president of a university is wonderful. And I'll say that as CFO, I didn't get hugs, and I didn't get students asking to get their picture taken with me, and I didn't get to do all kinds of cool things. So being a president is a lot of fun. I've got a great team of people who do all the work and make me look good, and I just try to get them the resources that they need to be able to do what they have to do and to take the blame for the decisions that that they don't want to take the blame for. So it's, I get credit for things I haven't done, and I get the blame for things I haven't done, but that's all good, because the important thing is about our students and trying to make sure that we've got the people and the programs in place for them to get them where they want to be. And the best days of the year are those commencement days, when you see students who you get to know, because on a small campus, you're familiar with people. You know a lot of them by name, and others you know by face because you see them often enough. And when you see the emotions on their face as they cross the stage to get that diploma, it just got chills just thinking about it. So, and we're really looking forward to having commencement ceremonies without masks again, so that I can see. I've just been seeing the eyes for the last couple of years, but it's all worth it, and it's all a wonderful time. I've really been fortunate. I give a lot of credit to, I've been in the right place at the right time. But you've got to do the work to make sure that you're at the right place at the right time and that you're able to take advantage of it. But I have always had supportive people in my life, people who may not have realized I considered them a mentor, but I was taking notes and following what they were doing and trying to model myself after those people. So I've been very fortunate with few obstacles in my way, and if they were, it was meant for a reason, because I went on to do something else. But thank you for that question. I want to thank you for your singing of the anthem. It was beautiful, just beautiful.
What advice would you give any woman to overcoming barriers?
Believe in yourself. Study up on, on everything. With those high heels, those ridiculously high heels. Many of you are too young to know who Ginger Rogers and Fred Astaire were stars in the 30s and 40s in old black and white movies. And Ginger Rogers said, something, a paraphrase, but something like, I can do everything the man does except I do it in high heels and backwards. And so sometimes you have to do everything that everybody else is doing, but do it in high heels and backwards. But just ask for the support from people you need it from, don't be afraid to do that. Don't be afraid to admit when you make a mistake and find your way out of it. And the other thing that I would say is, especially, and it's awful that we still have to say for a woman, but for a woman, dress for the job you want. Dress for the next job, so that if there's a vacancy, they already kind of see you as up and coming or in that role. So always be, I am the next one. Even although I did not eye the presidency, sometimes you just happen to luck into it. So thank you. Well, all right. Well, I have another question. Great. That's a tough one. I'm pretty good at compartmentalizing things, and my husband is, sometimes he's just oblivious, but sometimes it comes in handy, you know. I'll be worrying about something and not able to sleep, and I'll just be stewing over it, and he'll look at me and say, Nora, if you got dressed and went to the office right now, could you fix it? And usually the answer is no. And he says, well, get to sleep. You know, and like I said, oblivion, you know, sometimes it's just, but you just kind of have to. I will say that I don't have any children, and that was not by design. And that's probably my biggest regret in life, is that I was not able to have children. I gained 2 stepdaughters when they were in their 20s. So I missed out on some fun times, and I missed out on a lot of bad times too. So I got them just right, you know. But I think for a working mother, it's much more difficult to be able to wear all of those hats at the same time. My husband is a bit older than I am, and when I got the position as CFO at the W, he agreed to move to Columbus. We were living in Jackson, and he had never lived in a smaller town like that, but he knew that was my dream, and he was approaching retirement, so he moved along with me. Now, I know that as president of the university, as first husband, first gentleman, whatever, he's got it so easy, you know. If the roles were reversed, so much more is expected of the wife of a president than the husband of a president. And sometimes I tell him, you know, I really need a first lady, you know. So he is supportive, but I have not been as challenged as others, and I recognize that. And I don't know, you know, like I said, sometimes I think things just kind of happen by design, because I probably wouldn't have taken this role if I had young children or teenage children to kind of worry about. So things seem to just kind of work out, but I recognize that, and it is difficult for women. And I see members of my cabinet, women who have children, and the race to get to the orthodontics appointments, and when the child's out sick and all of that. And that's something that I do recognize, and I do try to encourage every supervisor at the W to have some flexibility built in to allow parents, men and women, to flex time to attend important events and to be an active parent and to help in the community. So those are all good questions. So, well, thank you all. Oh, Leah? Okay.
It's about the W.
Okay.
So you spoke a little bit about what the W has as far as programs and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But what makes the W special?
What makes the W special is, part of it is our student-faculty ratio. We have a student-faculty ratio of 14-1, so we have small classes. Instructors and faculty members get to know students well. We have a very warm and caring community. Walking across campus, you know, unless somebody's lost in their phone, people are going to smile and say hi and talk to you. Most of us eat over in the cafeteria every day along with our students and get to know each other. The campus is beautiful. We have 23 buildings on the historic register. It feels like a private school, but at a public school price. We have the third lowest tuition of the public universities in the state of Mississippi. And for 9 years running, we have been voted a great college to work for. And that means our employees are happy too. Our employees give back to the university. It's hard to find comparable numbers, but we've heard that on average, most institutions, about 23% of the employees give back to the institution. We have 67%. So that shows that our employees care and are invested in our students, and that shows. So, thank you for that, giving me that little plug there. I appreciate it. Well, thank you all so much, and this is just the start to the month of Women's History, and I hope you find ways to celebrate all 31 days. So, thank you.
President Miller, that was just outstanding. It was, wasn't it? I mean, because, yes. And I have to tell you, I remember the day she was named president of the W, and I was good friends with her predecessor. And when that announcement was made, everyone I know went, well, duh. Like, what a natural, wonderful, a fantastic leader, a person who cares deeply for students, who wants to create an environment that is focused on the students and the success of the students. And she was nervous about giving a little plug, but I have no problem saying that if you don't know where you want to go and you want to go someplace that can help develop you as a leader, the W is a good place for you to go. It really is. And she'd love to probably talk to you about that. And I've been thinking also about some things. This whole topic of, equity as you're thinking about, Women's History Month. And then this whole theme of walk a mile in my shoes or her shoes. I don't remember which one it is. In her shoes. And I started thinking about this. Some people think that equity means that we are all going to wear the same pair of shoes. They think that. It's like, I could wear my shoes. And then they want to say that the shoes you should wear are the ones they're wearing, whatever those shoes are, right? That's not what equity is about. It's really not. It's not about being the same at all. It's about appreciating the differences. It's like saying, the shoes you walk in are not the shoes I walk in, but I appreciate that you can walk in those shoes because I don't have to sometimes. Or sometimes it means that, you've got a pair of shoes for this occasion, as you shared, or this occasion, or that occasion. And each of those occasions is important and requires something different at that particular time. And it's not about being the same. It's really not. It's not also about pretending like the shoes that someone else walks in are less important than the shoes you walk in. Because those shoes are really important. And I promise you, she put shoes on that screen that probably wouldn't fit. 1, and 2, I ain't wearing them. I couldn't wear them. In fact, there's no way. But I can appreciate that President Miller wears those shoes. She has to. Someone has to wear those shoes. So I just want you to reflect on that thought today, the rest of the month, and if it sticks with you for longer than that, that's even better. Because we have to move away from thinking that equity equals the same. Doesn't at all. It means appreciating the differences that people have. All right, so President Miller, we have great students here. We really do. This crowd of students, I'm just looking out amongst them, and I'm seeing people who are going to be the future leaders of Mississippi, of Meridian, of Columbus, and this whole region. I see students that a few years from now, I'm probably going to look back and go, well, I remember them, and well, I wasn't expecting that, but very good. But that's awesome. It really is, because the potential and the ability for the people to transform their communities is sitting right in this room. Absolutely sitting here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your words. I don't know if you noticed when she started talking, I started hearing something, and I said, "Where are you from?" And she said, "St. Louis." And I went, "I knew it." Because I'm a Missourian as well. And we have like that secret language where we can kind of hear each other. And then when she was speaking, I was like, "It's St. Louis is coming out. You can't hide it." So, but I really appreciate that connection. And I also served in the Alabama Community College system for a while. In fact, her CFO used to be the CFO where I served as the interim president at a school. So we have lots of connections. And I'm just grateful and thankful for her friendship, for her support, for her willingness to come and share her thoughts about a really, really important topic in this inaugural event. And y'all are part of a first. And that's going to be an important standard bearer as we move forward. Thank you all for being here. And who do I think we're turning over to table discussions now, Nija, right? Or what? Oh, not quite. All right. Thank you all.
And let's give President Miller a hand one more time for showing us that women can wear more than one pair of shoes. President Miller, we have a gift for you. I'm not gonna make you walk back up. Piper, will you get this form? Just a small token of our appreciation for all that you've done today. And then I also wanted to give a special thanks to Al's Garden for the plants that were donated. Name brand shoes, they donated shoes that you see on your center as your centerpieces. And also the discount coupon, they got some sales going on right now. So y'all might want to go over there before the end of March and get those shoes. And then I want to thank the committee, the Women's History Month Committee, which is composed of Whitney Stevens, will you please stand? Brandon Deweese, Jennifer Whitlock, and Lucy Lambert, who could not be here today, and then would not be possible for these beautiful decorations, and she's gonna probably kill me for calling her out. Lisa Colbert, which is Dean Smith's sister. Will you stand, Lisa? And also for all the help that we couldn't have got any of this done without the help of Lily Hatampa, Mandy Hurt, and Courtney Pitts. So if you see any of these people before you leave, just give them a big thank you, because without them, none of this could have came together and we would not have had a successful event. And right now we are going to get ready to turn to our table discussions that we're going to have. The mentors at each table, we thank you for volunteering after we ask you to be mentors, and not saying no, because you could have said no. So we're going to give you all a chance to get to know each other at the table. The mentors, if they haven't already told you, they may tell you a little bit about how the walk that they took in their shoes got them to the path to where they are today. And then there's going to be some more discussion that they'll have at the table. But we're going to give you about 20 minutes, and then we'll come back up before we dismiss for today.